Good evening everyone and happy Environment Day. We got so many number of questions and I believe that those who are from the next IAS, you must be feeling a little comfortable with the questions and most of the questions. Like, let's have a look at those questions. Only purpose is to give you give you the answers to those questions. We are not going to discuss in detail. This is not the time for that, right? But this is one among the following crops, which one is the most important anthropogenic source of both methane and nitrous oxide, right? We have seen, we covered in the class, it was one of the most easiest question we can recall. Even in the class we have seen this. We have written multiple, right, multiple sources. Among them, right, one was rice cultivation, the paddy field. So that is one. Now in case of the question, consider the following pairs: wetland, lake. And if you can recall, I told you all the 49 sites which are listed on the Ramsar Convention, even on the right, this right from the Jammu and Kashmir to the bottom Kerala, Tamil Nadu to the east, and even in the east we have seen the three important. One is Deepor Beel, right, that is Assam. Then we have seen this Loktak, Manipur, and then we have seen the Rudrasagar, Tripura. And luckily we did have a question from all this. Like example, Renuka we studied, the Himachal also, right? All, in fact, all 49 we studied. It's a very easy question for us. That is Hokera wetland. Definitely, it's not Punjab, it's Jammu and Kashmir. Renuka wetland, Himachal Pradesh, Rudrasagar, Tripura, Sastam Kota, Kerala. So it means the answer is 2 and 3. The question is how many of the pairs given below above are correctly matched. So answer 2 pairs are correctly matched. So answer is only 2 pairs. Only 2 pairs, right? Next is then we have got, this is just to tell you that go through the notes, have a look at the notes back and see how many number of questions have been asked already. Almost, right, we have got a significant amount of questions. These are the some of the snaps which could be which are sent by the students, right? Because nowadays we have one luxury that we had some of the online batches, so these, right, can directly be taken from there. Otherwise, you know, much more than those informations we already have in the notes. Along with this, consider the following statement in respect of probiotics. If you can recall, we studied the human gut flora, the various microorganisms. Even we did write in the class bacteria, fungi, archaea and others also part of this. Naturally they are found, like lactobacillus, bifidobacteria. We have seen probiotic milk ingested with the favorable bacteria, lactic acid bacteria, like we were talking about the Yakult also. So it was an easy question for us. Probiotics are made up of both bacteria, yeast, yes. The organism in probiotics are found in food we ingest, but they do not naturally occur. That is wrong. We do have such kind of a bacteria in the human gut, and probiotics help in the digestion of the milk sugars. Yes. So 2 is wrong and 1 and 3 is correct. Answer would be C. That is 1 and 3 is correct. 1 and 3 is correct. Then we come to the next question. Here, climate action tracker, which monitors the emission reduction pledges of the different countries, is a database which is created by the coalition of the research organization. We have covered in the class IPCC, we have covered in the class UNFCCC, we have covered in the class United Nations Environment Program. It's not related to them. It's a two different organization independently establishing a climate action tracker. As usual in the class itself, we go a little fast. Here only answers you need to have. Consider the following statement: the climate group is an international non-profit organization. Those you can recall, we have studied in the class Under 2 coalition, and when we studied the Under 2 coalition, the secretariat of the Under 2 coalition, the services is given by the climate group. It means the fifth statement becomes wrong. International Energy Agency, you know, it's a climate group which is a secretariat to the Under 2 coalition. 5 becomes wrong. 5 is here, 5 is here, 5 is here, and 1, 3 and 4. As you can recall, I kept on telling you people, many a times you study some informations and still it may help you solve the question in the examination. It's not necessary we shall be able to recall all the information, right, especially when it comes to such kind of a question. So that was also one of the easier of the questions for us. Right now we see, if rainforest and the tropical forests are the lungs of the earth, then surely wetlands function as the kidneys of the landscape. You can recall when we started the significance of wetlands, number of places we did write the wetlands are called as kidneys of landscape. They play an important role in water purification, and even, right, some places we have seen this, how the plants will be absorbing. We have seen in the class phytoremediation also under the heading of the bioremediation, how the metal waste and other pollutant can be removed by the trees and the plants, absorbing them and locating them in the roots and the shoots there. So the question is very easy question was there. That is what aquatic plants absorb heavy metals and the excess nutrients. In bioremediation also we studied. Otherwise, this as it is statement we have seen in the class, kidneys of the landscape. For us it was easy. I told you people that wetlands may fetch a question this year in the examination, and rather we got 2 questions in the examination, and luckily we had both those 2 questions from the class notes itself. Right now, along with this, if you see, the next question is in the context of WHO air quality guidelines. If you can recall, I gave you right some pages from the air pollution, right, plus we covered in the class 2 what was over here like this. If you can recall, this was here, we were talking about the ozone. So we have studied ozone depletion in detail in almost 2 hours 3 hours class, for many student even 4 hours class, and plus we talked about how it is having a negative impact on the health, especially causing the breathing difficulties, triggering asthma, problematic to the asthma patient, and that is what we studied in the class WHO global air quality guidelines. Even right, I was talking about the 5 and 10 right, particulate matter, especially PM 2.5 concentration annual as well as the 24 hours. So what is over here is that 24 hours mean of the PM 2.5 should not exceed 15 right microgram per cubic meter, and annual of this 5. Yes, absolutely right. In a year, the highest level of ozone pollution occurs during the period of inclement weather. No, we have seen that is wrong. In fact, in the class, if you can recall, photochemical smog, वहाँ पे हमने पढ़ा था, right, where we were talking about how if the environment is stable and how if we are having a kind of a no vertical mixing of air, either the temperature inversion may have taken place. In those cases, the certain photochemical reaction may take place and even right led to the formation of ozone too. So it means that statement becomes wrong. And then PM10 can penetrate the lungs barrier and enter the bloodstream. Many a times we have written the class as it is statement, if you can recall, right, it's not mentioned, maybe it's not given over here. If you can recall, हमने class में कई जगह लिखा है, it's a PM 2.5 which basically may not only breach the lung barrier but may enter into the bloodstream. वो शायद slide लगाना यहाँ पे भूल गए हैं. So that also remember, we already seen in the class. It means what is the answer to this question? It's very simple. Answer is that it's not PM10, it's PM 2.5. Excessive ozone in the air can trigger the asthma. Yes, that we have seen. So 1 is correct, 4 is correct, 2 is incorrect, 3 is incorrect, right, in place of answer 1 and 4. So where the answer is, that is B, answer is 1 and 4. Which of the statements given above are correct, right? Next is, then we have got a question with reference to Guchhi, the sometimes mentioned in the news, it was in current affairs. Consider the following statements. It is a fungus. Yes. It grows in some Himalayan forest areas. Yes, we have seen it is sold in the market at very high prices. People collect that, right? It is commercially cultivated. No, right? It is not commercially cultivated. People go, right, and they collect it from where they are naturally grown, especially into those areas. So the 3 is incorrect. 1 and 2 is correct. The answer would be C. That is 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is correct. I have already told you, those who have attended the classes, we know how in detail we have studied all those information. Here the purpose is only to give you the answers. That's it. Next is, we are talking about what is this question is this. Next question is with reference to the polyethylene terephthalate. If you can recall, in the current affairs class, when I was taking your current affairs class, I think in the month of 1st or 2nd of this May itself, we were talking about the recycling of the plastic waste, and there we have studied all those, including the PTE, right? This is, we have seen already. So it means that is the question which already came in the examination this time, and it's already we covered in the class in the, among the recycling of the plastic waste and others also. So it means remember that when we talk about fibers can be blended with the wool and cotton fibers to reinforce their properties. Yes. Containers made of, right? No. There is, in fact, the industry, the plastic industry, they protested for this, that should not be banned and they are relatively safer. But from the examination point of view, bottles of it can be recycled into the other products. Yes. And among the given option, if we talk about, then 1 is correct and 3 is correct. So answer will be what? 1 and 3. Answer is A. That is 1 and 3. Plastic industry think differently, but from the examination point of view, what we studied, just pay attention to this. Now see this kind of a question. Many a times people keep on wondering, shall we cover how many number of species, what species? I always tell you people that let the current affairs class be conducted before the prelims examination. We will have the environment class, and in those environment current affairs class, we will cover all those species which have been in news, right, round out the year. And this year also that happened. Last year also the same thing happened. Whatever species the related question came, we did cover in the class. Example, the question came, which of the following is not a bird? Answer is golden mahashir. And you can recall in the class we studied the blue finned mahashir, we studied the orange finned mahashir, we studied the gold finned mahashir. So not only we studied different type of mahashir, we studied, remember, right, those other species also. That's how we get the question. But if the student can recall even one word, that's a mahshir, we were talking about the fish over here, it means that was very easy for us, right? That's very easy, one of the very easy question. Even if you can recall your current affairs classes as it is, bluefin mahshir, in front of that I wrote fish, and I told you to just remember that if the question comes, mostly the question may be whether it is a mammal, it's a fish, it's a bird, these kind of questions are there, and that's what, remember, the question came. Next is, which of the following are nitrogen fixing plants? You can remember we have studied the symbiotic association we are talking about. There we talked about the rhizobium and the legumes, the root legumes, right? Root legumes. And here what we have seen is, what are the root legumes over here? Please remember, leguminous plants we are talking about. We are talking about those pulses, etc. So in those questions the answer is alfalfa, chickpea would be there, and as well as clover will be there. These are the leafy vegetations which are there. So answer will be 1, 3 and 4. 1, 3 and 4 if it is there. Yes, this is A, that is 1, 3 and 4. Answer is 1, 3 and 4. Go to the next question, and that is biorock technology is talked about. When we talked about the coral bleaching, that's a restoration of damaged corals. Restoration of damaged corals. The Miyawaki method is well known for. Again, we studied in this current affairs class 2nd or 3rd of May, if I correctly recall. We had this all batches combined. It means all of you must have seen over there, right? Because of the paucity of time, we did this Miyawaki technique for urban forest management. If you can remember, only this much of a line we said it would be important if the question comes in the examination. And don't have a pen over here. Miyawaki method is well known for. The answer is what? Answer is that, see this, where it is written over there, creation of mini forests in the urban areas. That is C, and that is what we studied in the class. What we studied in the class was the same thing over there, and that was the Miyawaki technique of urban forest management. Next is, which one of the following has been constituted under Environment Protection Act 1986? Time and again, many places we have seen various statutory body constituted under the various environmental laws, and one of the environmental law we have seen Environment Protection Act 1986. And if you can recall, we have seen the Environment Protection Act 1986 section 3. I was talking about the various bodies established, and one of the body which was written over there were the Central Groundwater Authority, statutory body established under EPA 1986, right? And this is under, as of now, the Jal Shakti Ministry. We have seen the various such kind of laws. So that's what the question was there. So answer is very simple. That was the Central Groundwater Authority. If I have not told you, the answer is what? Central Groundwater Authority. Then after that, if you see, is which one of the following best describes the term greenwashing? जिनको क्लास में याद होगा, मैं आपसे बोल रहा था कि कंपनीज कभी कभी अपने पाप धोने के लिए इस तरीके से करते हैं. What does it mean? Means remember, you are trying to show off as if you are too environment friendly company. You have engaged into giving charities, donations, and such kind of right actions which would lead to such kind of a belief among the people as if the company is too eco-friendly, too environment friendly, whereas in reality it is not the case. It is called as what? Like example, as if you are brainwashing the people, it's called as a greenwashing. So what is greenwashing? Conveying a false impression that a company's product are eco-friendly and as well as environmentally sound. It's easy question for us. Generally, that was a question number 80. Consider the following statement. Gujarat has the largest solar park in India, right? That's wrong. Kerala has a fully solar powered international airport, correct. Goa has the largest floating solar photovoltaic project in India. That is wrong. So answer would be what? Only 2. I've already told you, giving too much of an explanation at this juncture is not going to serve any purpose. You must be too tired. Here you must be only looking for an answer. We had the classes, we have all those information covered there, right? With reference to Indian laws about Wildlife Protection Act, consider the following statement. If you can recall, I gave you this entire page. We studied in the class Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and we covered all this. And in this page itself, what we have seen over here, the very first page itself talks about the killing, and it also talks about the property of this entire wild species may be killed which are existing. That's solely the property of the government. So both the points we did have in the notes itself over there. So what the point says is very simple here. Wild animals are the sole property of the government. Definitely, they are the sole property of the government mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. And number 2, when a wild animal is declared protected, such animal is entitled for equal protection whether it is found in protected area or outside. Protected areas are mainly with respect to regulating the anthropogenic activities, irrespective of the species where it is, either in the protected areas or outside, should be enjoying that kind of a protection there. So example, if you see the tiger, whether it is in a national park or in the tiger reserve or right outside over there, it will will be enjoying the similar protection. So that is 1 and 2 shall be correct over here. Again, I have already told you in question or 2, sometimes, right, there may be an interpretational issue, but here, right, what is written over there, apprehension of a protected wild animal becoming a danger to the human life is sufficient ground for its capture or killing. Yes, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 says that if a species, if a wild animal is becoming threat to life, right, along with the other things also, then the species may be killed. But before that organism is being killed, right, they shall try to tranquilize or to capture, to, right, to make that organism, right, first of all captivated. If not possible, then the killing may be permitted by the chief wildlife warden, though there's a special permission shall be given. But the point is over here is that there is no apprehension of danger. So if there is a mere apprehension of danger, right, killing is not done over there. There shall be a real danger, number 1, and number 2, before danger, other step shall be what, that there shall be an effort with respect to capturing the organism. So number 3 becomes wrong, especially why? Because apprehension of a protected wild animal. But I've already told you, maybe UPSC many times we have seen previously 2 years they have dropped certain questions because they may have framed the questions wrong, or they may have taken the answers wrong in that way. So generally here the answer most probably shall be 1 and 2, because yes, what the point over here, if a species, if a organism, if a wild animal becomes a threat to the human, yes, it can be killed. But here the point is written as a apprehension, right? So generally we say mere apprehension, not B, before killing the organism, that wild animal shall be arrested or captured, shall be tranquilized. That shall be the first effort. And number 3, right, it shall be a satisfaction of the chief wildlife warden that it has become a danger. No, not that it has been considered that it may become a danger. Here we are talking the apprehension. So this is wrong. No, mere apprehension cannot be a ground for killing a wild animal. So 1 and 2 is correct. 3 is incorrect, shall be over here. Next is, I've already told you this, and then after that, certain species of which one of the following organisms are well known as cultivators of fungi. I don't know how many of you, right, or others who have not attended the classes must have studied this, but if you can recall, I gave you, right, I covered in the class the various interaction, and here in the interaction, right, I gave you those pages. If you can remember the mutualism and other type of interactions which we have seen, initially there was a box, and after that we had a 5-6 pages. In the very first page and second page itself, you'll find what was written, the leaf cutter ant and the fungus. Leaf cutter ant and the fungus, and it also had a mention of that basically it is cultivating whom? It cultivates the fungus, and that's what the answer would be. What the answer would be? Ant. So answer over here is a ant. It was an easy question for the student who attended. Must have been a very difficult question for the student who didn't attend, right? So that's one is, but the point is over here is very simple, that have you attended all the classes till the end? Have you gone through all the notes which we have covered? Obviously we have covered information much more than this, but still consider the following statement: other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in nature. No, right from the volcanic ash to the other contribution, it can be there. Nanoparticles of some metallic oxides are used in the manufacturing of some cosmetics. Yes. Nanoparticles of some commercial products which enter the environment are unsafe for humans. Yes. So that is also correct. 2 and 3. Answer shall be D, that is 2 and 3. Then we have got is the next question. If it is coming on the screen, yes. Consider the following: carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide. Almost every one of you, right, must have seen this question as a kind of a, right, one of the easiest question asked this year, right? Example, in the class we have only written, when we were talking about the acid rain, we talked about the oxides of nitrogen, and as well as we talked the sulfur dioxide interacting with the various atmospheric constituent, leading to the formation of respectively nitric acid and as well as the sulfuric acid. And when their precipitation takes place, that is called as what? That is called as a acid rain, right? Had right, these were the question. I think, right, we are done with the questions, right? So thank you very much for listening to me. These were the questions from this side. This year also we had so many number of questions, but again remember, as I kept on telling you in the class, again you can have a look at the question. Most of those questions, or almost all of those questions, are information oriented, data oriented, and one big problem becomes is what to be studied for this, how many number of information to be covered. But if you can be really focused, if you can cover more number of areas, then definitely we'll be having chances like we had this year too. So thank you very much for listening to me. All the very best for those who have appeared in the examination. Thank you.